Good morning and welcome to episode 92 of Getting Rich. I'm your host, Rich Checkan, president of Asset Strategies International, and today is Wednesday, October 5th, 2022. It's been a crazy week in all markets this past week. Precious metals have been surging. We'll get to that here in a second. But the markets remain fickle and volatile. We saw early this week numbers come in suggesting that the U.S. stock and bond markets turned in their worst performance in 50 years, basically with the evaporation of $20 trillion of wealth. That's followed up in the past 2 days with the best two-day performance in the stock market in 2 years. Some of the reasons for that are geopolitical. We're seeing tensions heighten as Ukraine pushes back and reclaims territory from Russia. Meanwhile, Russia has annexed, at least in their law, in their statutes, have annexed 4 Ukrainian territories. While that's going on, North Korea fired missile tests over Japan. And in response, South Korea did some precision bombing drills as a show of strength in the area as well. In the U.S., we're seeing stalling manufacturing data. The ISM survey came out at 50.9, the latest reading. 50 is the borderline between either an expanding industrial sector, which would be above 50, or a contracting industrial sector below 50, and we are perilously close to contracting. The US dollar considerably weaker over this past week. It was pushing 116, and now it's down just above 110. We've also seen this past week falling US Treasury yields, higher oil prices, and by the way, another major milestone in that debt climbing scenario. We've seen the 31 trillion mark for the first time ever. All of that, as you can imagine, has had a pretty positive impact on precious metals. So let's take a look at the prices over the past week. Gold today, $1,713.80, up 5.2% from last week at $1,629.50. Silver up 12.4% to $20.56 an ounce from $18.29 an ounce. Platinum up 9.6% to $929 an ounce versus $848 last week. And palladium up 11.6% to $404 an ounce from $2,154 an ounce last week. As you can imagine, with silver being the best performing metal outpacing gold, the gold-silver ratio fell significantly this past week to 83.71 from 89.53 last week, and that indicates the number of ounces of silver it takes to buy 1 ounce of gold. And as I mentioned, the US dollar from a week ago at 114.40 is down today to 110.85. All of this coming together, all these factors basically have given the markets hope, whether it be false or not, that the Fed is going to pause a bit on their interest rate hikes, suggesting that they have done enough, they have moved the economy, and now they can stop raising interest rates. Time will tell if that's the case or not. Powell and the team have not gotten to the level they said they would get at, but you know my thoughts. They can't get where they need to go to get inflation under control. So a pause is coming, a pivot will follow. When that happens is the big question. The markets are thinking right now that it might be coming sooner than later. So we'll keep an eye on that as we go forward. As always, I want you to go ahead and subscribe to us on YouTube and like us. Send us your comments and questions so we can share them with others. go ahead and sign up for our social media, our newsletter and alert services. By all means, if you haven't already, maybe last minute, you have time in your schedule, join us. Brian Zweig, our preferred client relations manager, and I will be down with Brian London and his team for the granddaddy of all investment conferences, the New Orleans Investment Conference, from Wednesday through Saturday next week. We'll be down in New Orleans. And please, don't ever forget that getting rich starts with keeping what's yours.